Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Kurt Hayden. I'm a producer here at Fear, and I'm joined by Stacy Wasserman, Chief Commercial Officer at Medisafe.
Hi, Chris.
Thank you
Nice
for
to meet
joining
you.
us today.
My pleasure.
How's your week been?
My week has been great.
Yeah,
Yeah, seeing a lot of people, learning a lot.
yeah.
It's really been a successful week.
I mentioned to the last gentleman, it's amazing to come to these conferences because you forget how many people you know.
Absolutely. And I've
Yeah.
seen people this week that I haven't seen in 20 years.
It's great.
So it's great,
Yeah.
right? It's like a reunion.
Yeah, it's fun to see those faces
I've been in the
again.
industry for a while. And so, to your point, you see all these people, you forget how many people you know
Yeah.
and see, but I love it.
Yeah, it's great. It is
Yeah,
great. It's
awesome.
nice. Now, we'll jump right into it here, okay?
Sure.
So, Stacy, given the evolution of pharma marketing over the last few years, what do you see as the biggest shift in the pharma marketing landscape or the most disruptive influence?
Yeah, well, anybody that's watched the news this week
Yes.
obviously has seen that our government is sort of scrutinizing, how we advertise, how we talk to patients. And so I think, time will tell, but I think it's going to be a really interesting time when it comes to DTC advertising and, what's going to be allowed there. You talk about fair balance. When I watch a commercial for some pharmaceutical products now, look, a lot of the benefits, and there are tremendous benefits, but those last 30 seconds of all the risks, I have people turn to me and say, why would anybody want to take that? And I said,
Right.
because if you're suffering,
Right.
it's the risk benefit, you're suffering, you need these products. But I understand that, you want people to understand the risks as well.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see where that's going to
I am too.
pan out.
Yeah.
And, I think it's good to have an informed consumer. And I think, consumers need to know what's out there. So, I'm unsure of where it's going to go.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be an interesting time to think about, how we reach out to consumers. And look, we spend a lot of time talking to patients, talking to consumers. And I think that's another thing that we're seeing is really very much a change in how we're using AI and personalization and even sort of an omni-channel approach to reaching patients. I see that evolving very quickly as well.
Yeah. And do you think it has? I think it has evolved.
Oh,
really quickly.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I see
Yeah.
just in what we do, we started out as an app. And then we learned that, some patients like an app, some patients don't like an app. So we had to evolve as well and think about how do we reach consumers in the way they want to be communicated.
Yep.
And so I think we're seeing a lot more in terms of omni-channel to both consumers and HCPs.
Yep.
Look,
Absolutely.
we've been e-detailing and e-prescribing and all of that. But now even the way we reach out to patients is we reach out via an app or a web or voice technology.
Yep.
Right now, voice technology is really changing the way we interact with patients as well. And then the other thing I see is everything has become hyper-personalized.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We as consumers now expect
Yep.
hyper-personalization. And that's really kind of the focus that we've taken to say, we can have 5 patients in a room who all look very similar on paper, and yet the way they're motivated, the way they respond can be very, very different.
Right.
And so we've really kind of focused on that hyper-personalization a lot more.
Yeah. And that data is just more readily available now, and it's just
Absolutely.
easy,
Right. And
easier to make actionable.
right.
Yeah.
So we always say, because we have so many consumers within our database, right? So we've been around for 13 years, 13 million patients. That generates billions of data points.
100%.
So, what do we learn from that?
Right.
What do we know about patients? So when a new patient comes in, they're not truly new, right? Because we look and see from some pretty advanced segmentation, what do they look like? And so we can start right from the beginning, sort of creating actionable insights from day one, because I say, okay, at least I know that patients that are of this age and this other demographic and live in this part of the country and have these diseases and take these drugs respond typically in this way.
Right.
Right. Then we kind of layer in what you tell us about yourself.
Yep.
Because you come on and you tell us some things about yourself. And so we can sort of modify and iterate on that. And then obviously, as we learn more about you, as we kind of collect your personal behaviors, we can begin to even get more focused, more hyper-personalized.
Yes.
Because it's interesting when somebody tells you about them and what they actually do
100%.
are not always the same.
Yep.
I
Correct.
always tell people, if you ask me how often I exercise, I'll tell you I exercise at least 5 days a week.
Yep.
And then if you actually monitor my behavior, maybe it's not quite as much.
It is quite true.
Right? So we
quite
have
true.
to really learn from what you tell us, but what you actually show us
Yep.
as well.
I love that. Smart.
Right? And then we can really focus in on how to get you to take that next best action.
Yep.
how you maintain a positive behavior or how we get you to change a negative behavior.
Exactly.
Right. And so it's very interesting. We do a lot of testing,
Yep.
right? Like A/B testing.
Yep.
And, one of the examples I give often, because I think it's very easy to understand, is you and I are taking a daily medication. I message you and I say, Chris, great job. You took 5 of your 7 doses this week. And you're like, cool, I did a great job. My message is, hey, Stacy, you missed 2 doses this week. We both took 5, right? But I messaged you, great job, you took 5. I messaged Stacy, hey, you missed 2.
Yeah.
Same, we both have the same behavior,
Yeah.
but we respond very differently to those 2 types of messages.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it really is.
I
And
like
we
that.
see that a lot in the way we respond to patients, because we know that you may not respond well to, hey, you missed 2.
Yeah, exactly. Don't tell me what to do.
Exactly. Hey, I did a great job. I took 5. Why are you telling me I missed 2?
Yeah.
So we really try to learn over time what motivates patients to really be successful. And that's our goal, right? Our goal is to make you as successful as possible on therapy.
Of course, and help as healthy as possible.
Exactly.
So
That's what we all want.
yes, exactly. So, and I don't think we mentioned it during that first answer, but I think we quickly talked about it, but there's been a lot of buzz around AI, of course. So tell us how you see advancements in patient engagement through the use of AI.
Yeah. I mean, it goes back to kind of what we were talking about, right? So we build a ton of models around patient behavior, patient engagement. So it's everything from tone, voice, cadence, time of day. We even do things like we'll look at your behavior and say, hey, you do great all week. On the weekends, not so great, right? So let's give you a weekend mode.
Yeah.
Maybe during the week you're up at 6:30 a.m., you're taking your medications, you're out the door by 7:30. On the weekends, you like to take it a little bit easier. You sleep till 10 o'clock. So you missed your 7 a.m. notifications. You missed your 7:30 medications. Let's modify that so that you can be successful on the weekends. So we run a series of models that really help us to uncover, again, what gets you motivated, what gets you to be a good patient, a compliant patient, what keeps you persistent on your medication. And we really use a lot of AI to really understand that and to dig deep into that and to be able to do it in a very agile
Right. Exactly.
way, right?
Exactly.
We don't want to take weeks to analyze data. We want to be able to analyze data in seconds.
Right. That's the beauty of AI. You can turn the ship around quickly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's really our goal, is that we want to do everything in real time.
Yep.
And AI really allows us to do everything in real time and make those modifications in real time so that we can help you be successful.
Yeah. I love that. Smart. So knowing that the reliability of AI generated insights are directly influenced by the quality of data,
Absolutely.
the garbage in, garbage out.
Of course.
Tell us a little bit about how Medisafe gathers data inputs into their model.
Yeah. So I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but we have over 13 million registered users.
It's amazing.
In our data set, right? So we know a lot about consumers. We know a lot about how consumers engage with digital solutions. We also know a lot about how consumers take medications based on whatever diseases that they're dealing with. We also see that most of the patients that we have are taking anywhere from 4 to 6 medications. Right. And some of those might be vitamins and supplements and things like that, but they're not managing one medication. They're managing multiple medications.
Right.
And not all those medications are on the same schedule. Some are once a day, some are twice a day, some are once every 2 weeks. Right. So how do we kind of get them to be able to manage all those medications? So we take a very holistic approach to medication management, knowing that you're not a patient of drug A, you're a patient who's managing a lot. And you're not just managing your medications, you're managing your doctor's appointments, and you're managing your children's doctor's appointments, and sometimes your parents' doctor's appointments, right?
Yeah.
So you've got a lot going on. So we want to give you a place where that all becomes easy for you, right? And so what we're doing is we're collecting a lot of data because we see all the medications you're taking. We see that sometimes the medications your parents are taking or your children are taking, because we have what we call a med friend.
Okay.
So you can involve somebody else in your care, so that if my mom misses her insulin today, I get a notification. Hey, Mom, like just checking in, making sure like everything's good. We see that actually raises adherence a lot.
Oh, really?
People don't want that phone call. They don't want to hear that they've done something wrong. But think about that. That's all generating lots and lots and tons of data.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
So what can we do with that? So all of that data allows us to, what we say, create actionable insights from day one, right? Because we'll take all of what we know already, we'll put that into the models, and then we will learn from those models, again, what is going to motivate you or help you be successful with your children, your parents, and all of that. So billions and billions of data points over the years across 150 plus countries.
Wow.
Allows 28 languages, like really a global perspective,
Yeah.
and to really understand patient behavior at quite a unique way. I think we've created quite a unique data asset that not only helps us with consumers, but helps us with our pharma partners as well.
Sure.
Because we walk into a pharma partner already saying, sometimes we have thousands of their patients already.
Yeah, of course.
Or patients on their competitive drugs,
Right.
or even just patients in their therapeutic area. And so from day one, we can bring them these very actionable insights that allow them to learn very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, the use of AI only makes it faster and easier and, creates those insights really at scale very quickly.
Easier to understand dashboards, all those kinds of things. I know.
Exactly.
I know. AI has just rescued me on presentations and those kinds of things.
I'm almost afraid to write an email without AI anymore. Like I'm like, really just check and make sure that but I do like I use it to check myself on certain things.
100%.
I mean, I was interviewing someone the other day and I'm like, I'm interviewing for this position, tell me good questions to ask, right?
Perfect.
It's just like, I use it just now in so many aspects of my life.
Yeah.
But we're using it today. I mean, even now we've introduced voice agents.
Yep.
As another way, because again, some people like web, some people like an app, some people like an email. We found that for some people and in certain demographics, getting that phone call and being able to somebody to walk you through something, ask questions, has been another successful tool. And sort of like this AI now, it's like these AI agents, they're amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I was on a call where the AI agent made a joke. Like, somebody said, oh, wow, I'm not really this nice usually. And the agent's like, oh, well, then I'll take it as a win because you're being super nice to me. And so conversational.
Yeah, I love it. That's great.
But allows our partners have so much greater efficiency than deploying these human care teams where, it's like the old FTE model of just adding more people and adding more people.
Right.
Just doesn't scale.
Right.
Right. And so how do we take more of a tech-enabled approach using AI where we can be super efficient, great for our partners because now they have a very operationally efficient model, but great for the patient too because they've access pretty much 24/7.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So gone is that 9 to 5 kind of model where I can get access to data and information and I can get help 24/7.
Yep. And the 20-minute hold and
forget it,
all
right?
that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
So
right. And so look, we become a very instant society.
Yes.
Right. We expect
for better or for worse.
Right. Like I always laugh, like my kids now, when you take a picture, let me see it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, when I grew up, we had to take film and we had to ship it somewhere. And then we had to wait for it to come back. Right. And then most of the pictures had somebody's thumb over them or they were blurry. Everything now is instant, right? We live in an instant society. And so that expectation is there. And I think AI allows us to accommodate patients in a way where we can provide the best patient experience possible.
Yeah, I agree. Now, what are some of the unique ways and we've touched on this a little bit, but what are some of the other unique ways that Medisafe is incorporating AI into its technology?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've talked a lot about it.
Yeah.
But I do think I go back to this idea of let's just a hyper-personalized experience. And we do that. That personalization takes place in the way we communicate to you. So whether it's voice or text or email or a web or an app, it's the way we message you, right? So not only how we communicate to you, but the type of message.
Right.
We also do it even in terms of the content that we put in front of you.
Yeah, of course.
So you and I may be on the same drug. You may be newly diagnosed and have a lot of questions about even your disease and your drug because you're new to this. You maybe have never injected before. A lot of these new specialty medications are injectables and you may be like, I hate needles. I don't want to inject. I don't know where to do it, how to do it.
Right.
And I may be on my third line of therapy.
Right.
And my biggest concern might be how to pay for my medication.
Yeah.
Right. So how do I even go about putting the right content in front of you at the right time?
Yep.
And we can use AI that way to say, look, Chris needs this. So we're going to make sure that he has a video on how to inject, that he has access to a nurse who's going to walk him through it, that he has content about his disease. Whereas Stacy, very comfortable with his disease, has used medications, but I really need to put patient assistance programs in front of her and financial assistance and affordability. And so we use AI even to push the right content to you. And then on top of that, making that content very personalized.
Right.
We find that is something as little as putting my name at the end of a notification.
I like
right?
that.
We have a technology we call JITI, JITI, just-in-time interventions. We test those interventions to say, I put a smiley face at the end of the message, may get you to react. Me, it may be that I need my name there. We look at another thing we might look at is we use something called geofencing to understand where you are, right?
Yep.
So if I'm going to message you and you've left your house for the day to go to work and your medicine is sitting on your night table, it's really ineffective for me to message you every half hour to take your medication.
At 10:30 out in your office.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we might send a message that says, hey, looks like it'd be better if we message you around dinner time tonight. Now, you're probably less annoyed because you didn't get a message every 30 minutes that now you've just swiped off and have totally disregarded. But now you walk back into your house at 6 p.m. and you're like, oh, great, here's my message, and now I take my medication. So we really want to think about all the ways that we can use AI and these insights to create the best patient experience, but also get you to really have positive behaviors. And so I think we've done that very successfully through, content and communication and messaging and bringing that all together so that you feel very supported in your journey.
Yep. I like that. Now, we like to end these, with a little bit of a crystal ball period. So I wanted to ask you, and you've already done such a nice job of talking about some of the things you're doing, so I'm not sure where you're going to go here, but I would love to hear kind of a bold prediction from you as to where you think kind of pharma marketing is headed to.
Yeah. So we talked a lot about personalization.
Yeah.
And we talked a lot about AI. I think, honestly, we've really just skimmed the surface on AI. I think what's coming, I said, probably we can't even imagine.
Right.
But my guess is that we're going to use, for pharma marketers, I think the use of AI, generative AI, plus data and analytics are going to allow us to really create, I would say, personalization at a different scale within minutes.
Yeah.
So, now, you talk to people that are in different industries where you talk to somebody and all of a sudden the next thing you know, your Instagram is loaded with messages around that product, right? Or you go to a web page and every sponsored thing is, I think pharma marketing is going to go to that level where instantaneously we're going to be able to put the right types of messages in front of the right people, even at local markets all around the world. Right?
I agree.
I think we're going to see that everything will just become super fast, super personalized at your local level so that we can even create differences for you sitting in Philadelphia versus somebody sitting where I live in Princeton, New Jersey. We may be getting very different messages only because I'm in the suburbs, you're in the city.
Right.
I think that the ability for pharma marketers to be instantaneous is really what we're going to see in the next 3 to 5 years.
I tend to agree with you. I think that's where we're headed.
I think so.
Well, Stacey, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. Safe travels back home.
Thank you.
And we'll see you at our next event.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.